WSYR TV Syracuse, the local station. You're watching the morning news.
Good morning and welcome into the morning news at 7 o'clock on WSYR Plus. We are so glad you're here.
We are glad you are here. We're glad it's Thursday, Friday Eve. We're not glad that we're in Storm Team Alert, but you know what? That's winter for us.
And Kate says it's all about location, temperature, elevation.
You've been listening. You know, the trickiest part might just be getting out your door because obviously it was wet yesterday.
Yes.
And now that's going to freeze.
Exactly. A lot of us were raining up until maybe about an hour or so ago, really.
Right.
And now we're really dropping below freezing pretty quickly this morning. So a lot of the untreated surfaces like your driveways, the sidewalks or anything, you're going to have to watch out for some black ice as that colder air really starts to funnel in here. Now we've been dealing with some snow, especially from Watertown to Oswego, Pulaski. You guys have picked up roughly like 2 to 3 inches. And it's that slushy snow too. We've just transitioned over to some light snow here at our studios. We've had just a bit of a light dusting going on, and you can see that in our Cat V Skynet 9 camera from the zoo looking out over downtown. It is 26 degrees. We've dropped 10 degrees here just in the last couple of hours, and we'll keep dropping. It's going to be very windy. We'll get in on more snow showers. The lake effect is our main feature player for this afternoon through tomorrow morning.
Thank you, Kate. And if you haven't done so already, what are you waiting for? Download the Storm Team 9 app. You can search it in the App Store or just scan that QR code right on your screen.
Shovels will be key tomorrow, not for the snow, but for a groundbreaking that's been years in the making.
That's right. Dignitaries will be in Clay to mark the start of construction for the $100 billion Micron megafab at the White Pine Commerce Park. It kicks off a 20-year project expected to bring over 50,000 jobs to central New York.
You know, it's a big deal. We got the countdown clock going right above our heads.
Love it.
But before shovels dig in, key pieces of this project are coming together at the Town Hall in Clay.
News Channel 9's Allie Elkins explains what's coming down the tracks.
A big stamp of approval on Micron's major site plan, with the planning board voting unanimously to approve the site plan for Micron's 4 megafabs to build its chips.
Means that they can get started. Groundbreaking's Friday.
The planning board also approving a proposed rail spur needed to get things started at the site.
That'll be used in construction of the overall site. And it's just meant to be temporary for a while, and then it'll be removed.
Important steps as construction gets going soon.
They'll start with the site and the rail spur, and then once they get the rail spur up, that'll really help them continue on with the main site.
In what will be a many years long project. In Clay, Allie Elkins, News Channel 9.
It's been 3 years since a similar Micron groundbreaking ceremony in Boise, Idaho, but it may give us a better idea of what we can expect tomorrow morning in Clay. Some politicians expected to attend: Senator Chuck Schumer, Governor Kathy Hochul, the county executive, and representing the White House is President Trump's Commerce Secretary. After the late morning ceremony at that site, a celebration will be held at Syracuse University. Though the project is just about to get started here at home, let's show you what the site out west looks like now. That project is about half of the size of what's expected here in central New York.
You can join us for special coverage of Micron's historic groundbreaking all day tomorrow on News Channel 9 and right here on WSYR Plus.
And speaking of tomorrow, the goal is still to have a water main break project wrapped up. Aqua says crews are making great progress to fix the huge water transmission line in Cicero, causing the water emergency in parts of Onondaga and Madison counties. Aqua says it's reaching a milestone for this massive project, officially installing over half of the new pipe. Workers continue to drain more water around the work area and take out the existing pipe. Despite the progress, there is still a mandatory order to conserve water if you live in the impacted area.
Well, it didn't look like water was needed for this late night scene at ESM High School. Firefighters heading to the campus off Fremont Road around 11:30. ESM Superintendent Donna Desiato telling us this morning that there was not a fire, but rather the motor to an air handling unit seized, which created that smoke. You can see firefighters on the roof there. Crews clearing that scene in about 30 minutes. Desiato telling us that the building is ready to reopen for classes this morning.
Disturbing scenes from Minnesota after another shooting involving a federal immigration agent.
This comes 1 week after Renee Good was shot and killed by an ICE agent during an anti-ICE protest.
But tensions once again boiling over after officials say 2 people started to attack the agent. ABC's Sophie Flay has more.
Overnight, violent clashes unfolding in the streets of Minneapolis after the second shooting by a federal agent in 1 week. Law enforcement agents deploying chemical irritants as demonstrators set off fireworks in their direction. Homeland Security officials say the latest violence stems from an attempted traffic stop last night. They say the subject of the stop, a Venezuelan immigrant, tried to flee and a struggle ensued. Officials say 2 people came out of nearby homes and hit law enforcement with a shovel and a broom handle. An agent then opened fire, shooting a male attacker in the leg. 2 others were taken into custody.
This is already a very tense situation, and we do not need this to escalate any further.
Deputy U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche responding, saying the Minnesota insurrection is a direct result of a failed governor and a terrible mayor encouraging violence against law enforcement. The mayor blames immigration agents for the chaos.
We have ICE agents throughout our city and throughout our state who, along with border control, are creating chaos. This is not creating safety.
Officials trying to lower the temperature after the fatal shooting of Renee Good last week. Violent scenes playing out on a daily basis. Agents firing pepper spray, dragging people from cars, and bursting into this family's home with a battering ram. And now a potential legal battle over Renee Good's death. Her family has hired the attorney who represented George Floyd's family. The state of Minnesota has asked a federal judge to issue a temporary restraining order to stop agents from carrying out raids and arrests, claiming they're unconstitutional. The governor warns the situation could become even more chaotic.
This week, he went online to promise that, quote, the day of retribution and reckoning is coming. That's a direct threat against the people of this state who dared to vote against him 3 times and who continue to stand up for freedom.
Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
To Oneida County now, the Marcy prison guard trial continues later this morning with additional testimony expected from the prosecution and possibly the defense if proceedings move quickly.
Michael Fisher is charged with manslaughter, accused of failing to stop the deadly beating of inmate Robert Brooks at Marcy Correctional Facility just over a year ago. Yesterday, 2 supervising officers testifying, both returning to the stand after appearing in October's trial of 3 other guards. Former Sergeant Glenn Trombley telling jurors that he pleaded guilty for failing to intervene, the same allegation that Fisher now faces. During cross-examination, defense attorneys working to distance Fisher from decision-making power and from knowledge of just how bad Brooks's injuries really were.
Staying in Oneida County now, new video into the newsroom showing the aftermath of Tuesday's elevator collapse at Turning Stone. This is what the scene looked like yesterday. That elevator being used as part of the new hotel project, collapsing and trapping 5 workers. All were pulled from the elevator, with most of the serious injuries being broken bones.
Transparency has been lacking from board members, and I think the public deserves better than that.
A public hearing on a Syracuse school board member's fate is currently set for next Tuesday after some parents and community members spoke out at a school board meeting last night. The board accusing Twiggy Billou of having engaged in conduct meriting her removal from office. It was just 2 months ago that she won re-election for her position on the board.
Regardless of the situation before us, how we handle this situation in front of our children and how we take responsibility for our own actions is what our children are going to see and are going to learn from.
It's still unclear what Billou did to spark those removal efforts. She was at last night's meeting but did not speak.
State police are asking for your help finding this woman, 30-year-old Allison Burgos of North Syracuse. She has not been in contact with her family since December 4th and has not been seen since December 6th. She's described as 5'4". She has brown hair with purple streaks and brown eyes. Anyone with information is asked to reach out to that number you see right there on your screen.
New information this morning on the deadly stabbing in Salina that sparked an hours-long standoff. Onondaga County Sheriff's deputies say Rayouf Mustafa believed his brother-in-law Taiwo Ogunsala was responsible for Child Protective Services taking his children. Investigators say Mustafa stabbed Ogunsala, killing him, then barricaded himself inside the home for nearly 14 hours. Police eventually went in and found Mustafa hiding in the attic. He has since been arrested and charged with murder, arson, and criminal possession of a weapon.
7:10 is the time. Turning to a hot topic that left some of you in the dark yesterday evening, and we're not talking about the lights.
Nope, so many of you flooding our inboxes with questions about why you're having trouble making calls and or sending text messages for several hours. Well, Verizon says the issue has now been resolved. Comes after thousands of customers reporting being stuck in SOS mode for 6 to 12 hours. Law enforcement saying there is no evidence of a cyber attack this morning.
Come on, buddy. Come on.
Get it. Grab it, bud. Grab it.
Take a look at this dramatic police body camera video showing state troopers rushing to rescue a woman and her dog after they fell through the ice near the Barge Canal at the industrial park in Little Falls. Troopers were able to pull the woman to safety, but her dog began to go under the icy water. After a tense moment, the dog was also brought safely to shore. Both the woman and her dog escaped without serious injuries. Way to go to the officers there to help out.
It's cold out there. Still ahead on WSYR Plus, Kayla have a full check on that forecast, and she says it's all about temperature, elevation, and location.
All three. That is true. She'll have that for you. Plus, the questions have been racking up about when this Burlington factory will be back up and running. Well, guess what? There are signs, a very small sign with a big clue.
You're watching the Morning News with Ryan Dean, Rachel Polanski, and Storm Team meteorologist Kate Thornton with Central New York's most accurate forecast. News Channel 9, the local station. This is a Storm Team alert, certified as Central New York's most accurate.
And a very good Thursday morning to you. This is live in Oswego. I've heard from a few of you up there that said, yeah, it started off raining last night, but then that froze pretty quickly when temperatures dropped, and then snow on top of that, just a few inches. I've heard about 2 to 3 inches of snow up there, but it's on top of ice, and so things are pretty slippery. And the snow is probably also kind of that wet, slushy snow too. So please be careful if you're in Oswego, Jefferson counties. That's kind of the situation up there. We've just switched over to some snow here at our studios in East Syracuse. You can still see plenty of green grass, but well, again, on the other side here, we can see a little bit of a very light coating, light dusting on the cars in our driveway. We've now just noticed things kind of just coating up with some snow now on the as you go up in elevation. This is at the Rosamond Gifford Zoo on the west side here from the Cappy Skynet 9 camera. So we have some snow. It's finally changed over because we're finally cold enough. We were well above freezing in the mid-30s all night long. Syracuse, south and east, and so that's why we've just been dealing with some rain. It's still fairly mild in the mid-30s in the Mohawk Valley, but now that colder air is spilling in, so we're going to see more and more of this snow just kind of filling in. So we're just getting started. If you're waking up this morning looking out the window and thinking, where's all the snow they were talking about? Like I said, we're just getting started. We still have all of today and tonight to get through as well. With more of this colder air coming in, some very heavy snow has been going on right along the southern shoreline of Lake Ontario. So we're going to watch for a lot of that to head our way later this afternoon and this evening. We still have mid-30s from Morrisville, Westmoreland, Herkimer, still above freezing, but we're now dropped into the 20s from Fayetteville to Oswego and down towards Groton. We're just going to keep losing ground too. This afternoon, we're spending the day in the teens. What feels like temperatures single digits. Very, very cold. So how much more snow are we getting? So this is on top of the couple of inches that's already fallen, but a solid 4 to 8 inches of snowfall in the southern shoreline of Lake Ontario, Jefferson, Lewis counties up in the Tug Hill. For Syracuse, our best chance of getting accumulating snow is going to be later this afternoon and this evening. When this low is kind of pulling out of here, that's when we have that snow kind of filling back in for the evening commute. So watching out for some slick roads, some quick bursts that may drop visibility at times. So this is going to be some risk that we're having late tonight through tomorrow morning. Even the morning commute tomorrow could be a little slippery in some spots. I do think we'll continue lake effect snow at least tomorrow morning. It's not really showing up here on our in-house model, but another one we'd like to look at that does very well with these situations is keeping lake effect kind of going right from that southeastern shore right through northern suburbs, including Clay. So that could mean some snow for micron ground breaking tomorrow morning. And then things will simmer down a little bit before we get ready for our next clipper moving through tomorrow night into Saturday. We'll pick up probably another inch or so out of that. Colder on Sunday. We have Arctic air that's just really waiting to come back at us. So we'll have multiple rounds of Arctic air starting Sunday into Monday, and then again Tuesday, Wednesday with highs in the teens.
Now, here is Ryan Dean with the Your Stories Q&A.
Today on the Q&A, we are putting a button on Burlington. Back in the fall, you asked me this question: has the Burlington on Erie Boulevard in DeWitt closed for good? I told you no, the store had a remodel after a water pipe broke, causing a mess. It was more than just a simple cleanup on aisle 5. This is what the store looked like back in September. Large cargo shipping containers were in the parking lot. Crews practically had the inside cleared out. We were told then to expect an early 2026 reopen. Well, hold on to your coat. I found a small sign giving me more than a small clue on when Burlington will be back open. Get ready to find the deals again starting Friday, January 23rd. If you scan past the sign, the store looks to be stocked and set up. There's a hiring table right in the front. There's also this sandwich board out front for job seekers. By the way, while we talk Burlington, let's remind you another one is moving into the area. The former Office Max near Drivers Village in Cicero is going to be a Burlington. The plaza manager there tells me they expect that store to open later this year. Do you have a question for the Your Stories team? Email us yourstories@localsyr.com. With the Your Stories Q&A, Ryan Dean, News Channel 9.
This is a Storm Team Alert, certified as Central New York's most accurate.
Another check at the radar. So there's a little bit of a dry slot right here with just some lighter snow. Still some steadier snow from Watertown and into the Finger Lakes. We are getting colder, so we're getting to the point where now everyone should be snowing, or at least a mix in there. We're feeling like the single digits with the wind chills today.
At 7:21, here is your news on the go this morning. Iran restricting much of its airspace as American forces on the biggest U.S. base in the Middle East remain on alert. The move coming after Iran warned neighboring countries that it would hit American bases if Washington struck. President Trump saying they are prepared to take very strong action if Iran starts executing jailed protesters.
Overnight, violent clashes unfolding in the streets of Minneapolis. After the second shooting by a federal agent in 1 week, Homeland Security officials say the latest violence stems from an attempted traffic stop last night. They say the subject of a stop, a Venezuelan immigrant, tried to flee and a struggle ensued. Officials say 2 people came out of nearby homes and hit law enforcement with a shovel and a broom handle. An agent then opened fire, shooting a man in the leg.
On the other side of this break, with Micron's monumental groundbreaking for its large campus in Clay set for Friday, we'll dig in on what you can expect.
Plus, watch your wheels this morning, especially if you live in Oswego. It is coming down there.
This is the Morning News.
Welcome back in. 7:25 is the time. Ryan and Rachel here with you on this Thursday.
It is getting colder and windier and even snowier for a lot of you out there today. Temperatures dropping to the teens with wind chills near 0 and more snow by the end of the day. Kate Thornton has your forecast coming up, but first, here are your headlines.
Yeah, shovels will be key tomorrow, not for the snow, but for a groundbreaking that's been years in the making. Dignitaries will be in Clay to mark the start of construction for the $100 billion Micron megafab at the White Pine Commerce Park.
It kicks off a 20-year project that is expected to bring over 50,000 jobs to Central New York. Here's Kate with that forecast.
And they are going to have a cold and windy one and maybe even snowy day for that tomorrow. But for today, we've changed over to some snow. We picked up at least a light coating. This is what it looks like from the Cap V Skynet 9 camera in Baldwinsville. A lot of the main roads are going to be in decent shape for you in Onondaga County because it was only until about an hour and a half ago that we dipped below freezing. Otherwise, it's just been raining all night long. Far from the case, though, from Oswego to Pulaski and Watertown. You started with rain, it froze over, changed over to snow. It is very slick and sloppy, so please be careful. Several inches of snow has fallen, starting to fill in now in the Finger Lakes with some heavier bursts of snow moving into Seneca and southern Cayuga County. So we'll pick up an additional few inches of snow by the end of the day, with most of it happening just north because that's where some of the heaviest lake effect snow is going to be. Temperatures are just going to keep on dropping. Temperatures in the teens this evening. We're watching out for bursts of snow for that evening commute and tonight. Things will kind of settle down for a little bit tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow night, another quick shot of snow into Saturday. A few snow showers on Sunday.
Download the WSYR Plus app on your TV to stream News Channel 9 for free. Just go to your smart TV, search WSYR Plus in the App Store, and download to start streaming today.